Good morning, everybody. Here's a family's quick guide to babies and safe sleep. Sleep is a wonderful thing. Infants need a lot of sleep so that they can grow to be healthy. Infants need between 14 to 16 hours of sleep a day. But rarely do young babies sleep longer than 3 hours at a time. This we know, hey? This short time frame can be really hard on parents. So when possible, sleep when baby sleeps. That's like the golden rule. Sleep can be sporadic and interrupted for a while, and you really do need to sleep to be healthy and to have the energy needed to care for your baby. That's one of the main and hardest struggles when it comes to a newborn. So at first, your baby may sleep at different times of the day, but around 3 months of age, a pattern may start to form. Every baby is different, so always keep that in mind. Your baby may start to sleep for longer periods of time at night and less often or for shorter periods of time during the day. Don't worry if baby seems to have night and day mixed up. There are ways that you can help them adjust their sleeping patterns to fit your family. So you have to kind of imagine when baby's in the tummy, we're moving around a lot, and I think it almost like rocks them to sleep, where they're sleeping a lot during what would be the day to us. And then when we are starting to kind of slow down and relax, finish eating dinner, and I remember being absolutely exhausted when I was pregnant. That when you're laying down and you're resting, that usually ends up being the time that they're really moving around, so they're awake. So when they are born, their rhythm is a little bit different for sure, and it does take a little while to regulate. Okay, so one way to help your baby recognize that it's time for sleep is to develop a routine before nap time and bedtime. Your routine may include different things like reading a story to your baby before resting, or giving them a nice warm bath before bedtime just to kind of relax. Those are good ones. So your baby will make noises and move around while sleeping. It is normal. If your baby stirs during the night, give them a few minutes to fall back asleep before you're picking them up and interrupting that sleep. This is an important step for baby to try and learn so that they can eventually sleep through the night. We know that that is a common struggle, and once again, every baby is different, but just trying your best to kind of set the stage for it. So babies will sleep less as they develop. We talk about this fairly often. Common reasons for babies to wake throughout the night may include different things like hunger. It could be due to teething, uh, being hot or cold, so their temperatures, having growth spurts, so that's a part of the developmental stages. Everything that they have been learning, they're almost like recapping during their sleep, and it's very active, and that's why I think that it can be cause interruptive sleep. So illness like getting the flu, having, getting a cold, the fevers, different things like that, or loneliness. So of course attachment, um, that you are their safe spot. And when they wake up and maybe they're feeling startled, or all of a sudden they notice that mom or dad isn't there, it could be definitely a part of loneliness and just wanting that secure, safe attachment. So let's talk about responding to a crying baby at night. This can be a really common thing that people struggle with, of knowing what is the right and wrong thing to do. It's very important to respond to your baby when they are crying. Once again, just creating that safe attachment so that they know that you are there. Research shows that babies who are quickly and effectively comforted when they are upset cry less and are soothed more quickly. So even just like the more that you are quickly and effectively comforting them as they get older, it also actually gets that the second half of like 6 months to a year, the more that you tend to them, it's actually easier that they get less upset later on. Sometimes a baby cannot be comforted no matter how hard we try. It's easy to feel overwhelmed during that time, and uh, it may feel comforting for you guys to know that many parents have these feelings and are going through the exact same thing. This is a part of raising an infant. Remember that it is important to stay calm, uh, whether you try with breathing slowly, trying to take a break if you can. I know that every family situation is different. Do not be afraid to ask for help if you do have it. If you don't, take the time if you need it. It's okay. I know it says, responding to a crying baby, but it's also important that if you are doing this alone, that just placing baby in a safe environment in the crib or in the bassinet. And if you just have to go and take a breather for a second, it's a lot safer to have baby in a safe place and for you to get that moment to breathe. And then you're being able to come back and it's more important to say take care of you for that moment, to take a breather so that you can come back and rejoin baby. That yes, for that moment you are letting them cry, but as long as you are eventually responding and they know that you are there in increments, that's better than feeling frustrated. Always that reminder, right, that it does come back to never shake a baby. It's really easy to get frustrated when you feel like that there is absolutely nothing that you can do for this infant at this time. And that's when we need to take the break, kind of recoup, come back, always come back. So not our most favorite thing to talk about, but it is very important to be aware of what SIDS is, which is the sudden infant death syndrome. Sudden infant death syndrome, called SIDS, is the sudden and unexplained death of a baby younger than a year old. So while the rate of sudden infant death syndrome has declined in Canada, it remains the second leading cause of death of healthy infants, with a higher rate amongst vulnerable populations. Current evidence demonstrates that unsafe infant sleep environments also play a high role in sudden infant death. And taking the following steps that we're going to be talking about in a moment and precautions have shown to significantly lower the risk of SIDS with safe sleep. So quickly, I'll review the steps to safe sleep and then go in a little bit more in depth into them. So providing a smoke-free environment before and after baby is born. Breastfeeding can protect your baby. Also placing your baby on his or her back to sleep at nap time and nighttime. Providing your baby with a safe sleep environment that has a firm surface, no pillows or extra comforters or bumper pads. So just an example of the baby over to the right there, and there's absolutely nothing in the crib. Place your baby in the crib, cradle or bassinet next to your bed. So just keeping them close, especially within the first 6 months. But like I said, we'll go into further detail of that in a moment. So being smoke-free. Smoking during pregnancy exposes unborn babies to tobacco smoke, which is one of the greatest risks of SIDS. Up to 1/3 of SID deaths could be prevented if pregnant women did not smoke. No smoking at all is best for baby, but lowering the amount of cigarettes you smoke can also lower the risk of SIDS. Secondhand smoke also increases the risk of SIDS after your baby is born. So avoid smoking near your baby, in the house, in the car, or anywhere your baby sleeps or spends time. If you, your partner, or a family member or friend smoke, smoke outside and as far away from the baby. So breastfeeding. Any amount of breastfeeding for any duration can help protect your baby from SIDS, but exclusively breastfeeding for the first 6 months, which is the risk, um, is the time that it's a higher risk of SIDS, can lower the risk of SIDS up to 50%. That is crazy. That is a large percent. A reminder, if you bring your baby into bed to breastfeed, the risk of SIDS and suffocation do not increase so long as you place your baby back to sleep in the crib, cradle, or bassinet after you feed. So talking about back to sleep, so having them on their back when you're placing them to go to sleep. Babies who always sleep on their backs have a lower risk of SIDS. Placing your baby on his or her back to sleep works. Since the launch of the 1999 Back to Sleep campaign in Canada, the number of parents and caregivers who place their babies on their back to sleep increased dramatically, and the rate of SIDS has dropped more than half. That's crazy. Newborn babies get in the habit of sleeping the way that they're first placed. So start placing your baby on his or her back to sleep right after he or she is born. Sleep practitioners or positioners, sorry, such as rolled up blankets or wedges that are meant to keep babies on their backs to sleep are not needed at all, and can increase the risk of suffocation. So best is on their back, absolutely nothing to support them. Supervised tummy time during play is important to develop healthy skills and helps prevent your baby from developing that. Also known as the flat head. The safest place for your baby to sleep or nap is in a crib, cradle, or bassinet that meets current Canadian safety regulations. When babies sleep in places that are not made for them, such as an adult bed, sofa, or armchair, they can become trapped and suffocate. The risk of suffocation is even higher if a baby shares the same sleep surface with an adult or another child. The following makes for safer sleep. So other than a firm mattress and a fitted sheet, there is no need for any extra items in the crib, cradle, or bassinet. Soft bedding such as pillows, comforters, quilts, and bumper pads can increase the risk of suffocation, and there is no need for them in the crib at all. Soft surfaces such as adult beds, sofas, and armchairs can increase the risk of suffocation. So just to visually kind of put an example on it, if you guys have ever seen a crib mattress that later you can use for a toddler mattress as well, they are very firm, flat, and basic. If you take a look at a lot of the adult mattresses that have come out now, they're like what they call like the quilted. So you see that they're very soft. They also have those indents throughout the mattress. So just to show the difference in between that and what you would see in a baby crib, it's significantly different. So safe crib, cradle, or bassinet. Check for the label that shows the date that it was made. If it does not have a label, it may not be safe. So check regularly to make sure that the hardware in the crib or the bassinet is tight and not damaged. Health Canada also recommends that cribs after 1986 and or no more than 10 years old. So I know sometimes the thought of having like your crib for your baby because somebody made it or your grandfather made it. That's just not realistic anymore. You have to make sure that it is up to standards, that it's made after the year that I was born. I'm just kidding. um, or no more than 10 years old. So looking at baby swings, bouncers, strollers, and car seats, they're not made for unsupervised sleep. Sleeping in a sitting position can cause your baby's head to fall forward, which can make it hard for baby to breathe. For this reason, it is important to move baby to a crib, cradle, or bassinet to sleep when you arrive at your destination. So overheating is also a risk to SIDS. Your baby is safest when he or she sleeps in a fitted one-piece sleeper wear that is comfortable at room temperature and does not cause your baby to overheat. If the room temperature is comfortable to you, then the kind of rule of thumb is that it would be comfortable for baby as well. Babies do not need extra blankets because a baby's movement can cause their head to become completely covered, which can cause them to overheat. If a blanket is needed, your baby is safest with a thin, lightweight, and breathable blanket. You tug it underneath, so it sits underneath the armpits, and then tucking it to the sides of the crib and tucking it in so that it stays in one spot, not going to be moving with baby, causing it to move and become near their head. I know that it's it's such an easy struggle because we always um, kind of the old thought we is that we don't want babies to be cold. Is very common for our like grandparents and different things. Like we're always worried about a baby being too cold, which is obviously something that we do want to worry about. Um, but just as long as it's comfortable, it's good because you do not want baby to overheat, and that's a common struggle. So crib, cradle, or bassinet next to your bed. So room sharing is best for the first 6 months. So when the risk of SIDS is highest is in within the first 6 months, it helps your baby sleep safely and lower the risk. Room sharing means placing your baby to sleep in a crib, cradle, or bassinet next to your bed in your room. Bed sharing or co-sleeping is when a baby shares the same sleep surface, such as an adult bed, sofa, or armchair, with an adult or another child. Sharing the same sleep surface increases a baby's risk of SIDS and suffocation. This risk is even higher for babies less than 4 months old. Sharing the same sleep surface is unsafe because a baby can suffocate if he or she becomes trapped between the sleep surface and the body of an adult or another child, the wall, or other objects. An adult or another child rolls over onto the baby, or the sleep surface has soft bedding such as pillows, comforters, or quilts that are moving around as you move. The risk of SIDS and suffocation is even higher if baby shares the same sleep surface with a parent or caregiver who smokes, is very tired, or has taken drugs, alcohol, or medications that can make them sleepy. So let's end on a lighter note. It's really great to be educated on safe sleep. But I know it could be a heavy subject, but it's really great to be educated so that so that our babies can be in the safest environment that we can give them. So on a lighter note here, soak it in. Take a moment the next time your little one is fast asleep to admire how sweet and little they are. Time goes really fast. I feel like that I was just pregnant when I reflect on it, and my daughter's 7 already and going into grade 2 after the summer, and it really does go fast. And it's really easy to get caught up in the challenges of parenting, It is not easy, and it time just really does go fast. Do not underestimate how fast they are also growing while they are sleeping. They are not this little forever. Take that moment. It is priceless. And the best part is that little rush of love. So that little bit of oxytocin, that love drug that it produces when you look at them and you see their little faces and they're calm, and sometimes you get a smirk while they're sleeping. It's just really taken in that moment. Okay, guys, remember, always look at the links down below. I will link another safe sleep video, and also more information on how to, like more information and how to avoid flat head, and other things for you to look at there. So make sure that you look down below, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great day.